action on dollar wide put credit spread for spot. I'm almost comfortable going with the 403, 402.
Hi YouTube,
Right
how's
now,
everybody
you can
doing?
sell it at about 42 cents. But even that's like not quite a 1-to-1. It's risky enough where I would take probably a 10 or 20% return on that and be okay. But I would be in and out of that with day trade, no doubt. I would not
Yeah, if
hold
I
it
was,
overnight.
I mean, my price action is nowhere near reliable yet. So for me, I mean, I'd be looking at like 10, 15% if I was doing something next day expiration.
Right. And if you compare like tomorrow expiration on straddle that, sell the 404 buy the 403, and do it quick enough, that's better than 1-to-1. You can sell it for 53 cents right now.
There's DBGI pushing, and we're just kind of
I
going sideways there.
I've gone and sold positive delta condors, which is where you can sell a credit spread for better than 1-to-1, and then go and sell the opposite. Say you open with put credit spreads, price moves up, and then suddenly you can lock in above half the width of the spread, and then go and sell a call credit spread for a little bit more than half the width of the spread. Then you have a can't lose iron condor. But it's positive delta because no matter which way price goes, you're going to get paid the difference between uh, the width of the spread and the total premium received. So, like if you sold two of them, or you sold the call credit and the put debit or put credit spreads for like 55 cents each, uh, and price could go either way, you're going to be locked in, guaranteed 10-cent return on that, no matter what happens. But if you get a sign on it, it kind of throws everything on whack. So it's like there is another risk. I've had occasions where if price is wild enough, I can sell like at the money or straddling the money spreads better than 1-to-1, and then lock in a profit where you can't lose. Can't happen. It's just a little bit more challenging to get into.
All right, well,
All right, thanks, guys.
have a good one. Appreciate you. Stay safe.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy. I'm in algebra here. You just talk trigonometry to
Yes.
me.
It gets there. That the options is complex.
It's complex and it's
It's
like
simplistic at the same time.
you want to learn as much as you can about that complexity and how everything moves, and then make it simple.
Right, right, right. There you go.
Yeah, you gotta have the picture in your head of how it works first.
Right.
And then you wait for the timing to happen, and then you see that setting up, and then you get into you leg in essentially, or you sell the open on that, right?
Right. Yeah, with credit spreads, you sell to open.
Yeah.
494. Yeah, all these levels it hit. I wonder where I learned how to do that. Okay. That's all I'm saying. This just sucks.
I still got to figure out TradeStation. I got to go play with all the. I got to go watch all the videos and learn how to use it. We do have plans for having their reps come in and do a demo video for us, possibly next week. And then don't forget, TrendSpider is
Tomorrow or Wednesday?
TrendSpider's Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I think. So let me get the check.
All right. Hopefully I'll be all settled by then.
Okay.
All right. So we're continuing to move up these price levels. This one's not a level. This is a channel from, gosh, who knows when. Back in last year. I did this between the 30th and the 1st, the 30th of October and the 1st of November 2021.
Actually, that's tomorrow.
All
Tuesday.
right.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Wait a minute, I'm wrong. Hold on.
Are you?
Yeah, we'll be recording it.
All righty. Tops is continuing to do some stuff, even though we don't trust it. And let's go look at, see what we can find. We are slow on price action today. I mean, we've got stuff going on. It's just really slow. I gotta go see the orthopedic doctor today. Yay.
I get to do my front brakes today. Yeah.
Yay. Are you doing them yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got somebody to help you? Is it, you still have to have somebody to help you bleed them like they used to?
Yeah, you still gotta have something to help you bleed them. I'll be doing it in front of AutoZone. I'm sure I can get one of them to come and press the brake for me.
I have a way of doing that, but
And
I have a friend who last time I changed brakes, he had a way of showing me how to do that by myself. I can't remember what we did though.
there's a tool you can have where you,
you just compress the brake down, and then you go and you bleed the.
sometimes I'll use a long screwdriver and wedge it between the edge of the seat and the brake pedal. Just have to push the brake pedal.
Oh, that's
Don't
something.
get the full pedal swing to get all the fluid out. Just get enough to get some air out.
I got a 2-foot.
There you go.
Well, I'm a little older than 40 CBM. Just, yeah, years of walking on a bad foot. Alrighty, so Mullins walking the pivot back down there. DGBI's over here doing something. COMS, and I'm gonna go see if I can find some other stuff.
So are you talking to them about like cutting into your foot and rearranging some things?
No, they can't do that. No, I am going to get an injection into my ankle, see if they'll do one into my knee, and then they got to look at my knee because it might have blew out last week. It's kind of squishy and balloony and behind the back of it.
Ouch.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Ricardo. Come help us. We're talking about old man stuff.
We're definitely not getting any younger.
No.
It's like the universe knows your age and then just gives you all the stuff that you were.
What's the term I hear? It's not the years, it's the mileage.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's see. DBGI is still pushing up. I'm looking for some other things. I see Bed Bath and Beyond's moving.
You got a 15-second bear flag on the spy with the shit starting to crack.
It's-
250's key support. Wicked trend.
Yeah. You got a trend is good. Trend is your friend until it bends. All right, gonna see what we got happening over here in the meantime at COMS.
I go into so many innuendos there. I'm sorry. I just.
Oh my God.
Take it easy there, Mr. Green.
Hey. Sorry.
Be a good boy. Be a good boy. Jeez.
Hey, Stone, you got some really nice VWAP bends there on the spot.
Yeah, I got a few of them here. And then to see where we are right now, don't you?
Hey, Stone.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you, can you explain that a little bit? I know you're the BWAP bender.
I have I think I have a video somewhere where I explain that. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll post it. Well, but basically, yeah, I'll show you while we got time too. What the heck? We ain't got nothing to do right now except watch stuff. So basically, what happens is this red line is VWAP, and what I like to do is, I just kind of, we had a guy for a long time who traded and taught VWAP, and I always found it interesting. And like this is my VWAP, and this is a bend, and you see it's meeting up with a pivot at 404.74. So what did price do when it gets there? It does something. It always reacts. It always responds. This VWAP here, this is a bend. Well, we'll probably get some kind of reaction to price there. And it's volume weighted average price. And what I find is it's just a quick way to grab a pivot. And sometimes I overdo it, and I'll have a bazillion of them up there. But basically, I follow this red line, and I find out where it makes movement, where it has dramatic movement, like this right here, dramatic movement, where it's actually crossing a moving average, but it's also, let's see if I can open it up just a little more. We can see that it was going along, and then it drops like when price drops, and that level is like almost exactly where we have another pivot at 407.13. So I see these things, and I see, okay, it's been going straight here for a little while. Well, I'll mark that bend right there, and I give it a color. And that's a VWAP bend, and it becomes just like a pivot.
COSM's about to retrace back to 15 cents.
Oh, look at that. Okay. So, and what I find is that since it's volume weighted average price, we have several ways of finding those zones and those areas that we look for, control bars and so on, and pivots. And a lot of times just finding that bend is a quick way for me to grab a pivot. And then I'll watch how price, responds and reacts with it throughout the day and throughout the, its history. And there's a zone right there. Came down here. I'm gonna color this guy. I'm gonna make him a VWAP bend since it's the same thing. And you can see there's price responding. It didn't go past it too far before it came back down and rejected at that area. So it's it works just like a pivot, and it's just a quicker way to do it.
It's a great way to find where something's going to happen.
And a lot of times, yeah, exactly. I'm expecting something to happen here.
Something, not something specific. I mean,
well,
set up in the
yeah. Right. Well,
the break, not the setup.
Right. But here's the thing now, and exactly. So if I want it to be bearish and I saw a price coming up this way, or I want to be bullish, I want to see how it responds to this area. And you can see right there, it's almost like it's a zone. There's another little area of VWAP. This is the VWAP line, but this is the area where it shot down earlier. So price is going to have a problem getting above it. Now, if I take all my pivots and everything, and then I put in my price action with it, and I follow along with it, and I find my channels, and I know some candlestick analysis, like I got a wick there, and then I got an inverted hammer here. These wicks right here, well, it was showing signs of weakening and not going through it strongly, even after it closed above it. So this was giving us an indication that price was going to come back down. And that's what it did. And it came back down to the 15-minute opening range. I had a VWAP bend here. And they just work like pivots. I hope that's I'm doing a quick explanation of it. I apologize. I got Monday all over me.
No, that was great. It makes a ton of sense.
And so it's now when you do VWAP and TOS, you get a standard deviation above and a standard deviation below. I got rid of all that, and I just used the one line, and that helps me out a lot. And then the other thing I use with VWAP, not just the bend, but with VWAP's a mean. It's not a typical. It's not a moving average. It's different. It is an average, but it's the heaviest, the volume weighted average. So price is going to really react to this and respond to this. But when I have the 200 above VWAP and prices below it, well then, it can come back up here. It can reject off of it. It can do other things. But to see it bullish, I want to see the 200 below VWAP and price above VWAP. And then, movement of how just like any other average, even though it's not, how price reacts to it, how it responds, how far away it gets from it before it goes back to it. VWAP is the one that if it gets too far below, it's going to come back to it. Gets too far above, it's going to come back to it. And here we have VWAP, and we see prices reject it. So, looks like we're going to get an evening star, and we're going to come back down. Or we could just consolidate a little more in this range. It's just another way to grab pivots. One that I kind of saw.
Parts of your price ladder, right?
Yeah, it can be parts. Exactly, it can be the rungs on your price ladder as well. Although I find it a little bit more convicting. I have a little more conviction when I start, even if I have those, when I start looking at the candlesticks and I find the controls on the 1 minute bar and see where that, price is having difficulty, and then I can use those. If we're going back up, I can use those red bars as a price ladder up. Or you can go down with it too. Hey, Victoria.
I'm just testing. Can you hear me? I've got a new setup.
Yep, sound great.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Is there an echo in here?
Okay. I think I answered that question from Hard Mirror 214. Yeah, I just use the single VWAP. I turn off the upper and lower bands. So I turned off the deviations. But you can put them on, and just like a Bollinger Band is a standard deviation. It's the 20, the middle purple line is the 20, and then this is a standard deviation above it. This is a standard deviation below it. And you can see that thing almost, it's kind of hard to see here, but you can see that thing works like channels, man. That's why Jeremy likes it so much. It draws us channels for him.
Yeah, they did a thing where, using this as training wheels.
Yeah.
Seasoned veterans, just based on what the candles were doing, what they thought the Bollinger Bands were doing,
Mm-hmm.
and they all pretty much drew the same thing, and it was correct.
Yeah, a lot of the Bollinger Bands get a lot of play. So here we come back down to 402.41, and that's a previous VWAP. Basically, what those bends are. Let me summarize it and end it with this. Basically, what they turn out to be is previous day's VWAP. So you can have a VWAP for each day, and price will go in between them just like it does any other pivot. And it's finding the pivots that you like, like on the MES, you can find all sorts of stuff. Again, if you go watch Sig's videos, he does the whole, roundy, quarter, halfy kind of thing. And, where you find the range of price, and then you mark out those, 25 point areas, and you can see how price acts through those pivots as well. VWAP, the volume profile, that's my powder blue lines, or cyan, or whatever they are. And I'll go find those on a volume profile, and I'll put those out too, because those are ledges, those volume ledges. Those are ledges where price, it's volume, it's weighted price. It's not the VWAP, but it's a volume, and it shows you the volume profile. And the ledges, those points that stick out, are often places where price is going to respond. It's going to either bounce, it's going to do one of three things. It's going to bounce, blow through, or reject. Wait, did I say that right? It's going to go up, down, and sideways. So it's a matter of finding the things that make you comfortable. And, Jeremy uses the control bars a lot. And what I found with those is that oftentimes when he'll give a control bar, and I'll go find a control bar too, after I mark my VWAPs, they'll usually line up with the control bar. So I just see them quicker.
Yeah, it's just I'm used to finding price targets fast, so I don't always have time to break things down. So I just look at the graph control bar.
Right.
There you go.
There you go. There it is. And it works. All right, we're coming back up on after this little high and tight thing, this long freaking wedge.
Quick and dirty.
Oh crap, that was quick and
Or
dirty.
quick and clean, however you want to call it. You can go either way. No innuendos need to apply.
No innuendos need to apply. Would you stop with the innuendos today?
Got Monday all over him.
I got Monday all over me, man. It's like really extra Monday. I have extra Monday. I got your Monday portion. Okay, so there's that box I drew earlier, which was basically this control bar over here when I saw that it needed to break through that to get above it. We still have this 1294 pivot, and more 13 than anything. And when we get that, we can go up to the 1407. This guy's moving some. And then we can possibly find a move.
I missed a scalp on SINT. Damn.
Center.
Yeah, it could have been a 1 cent scalp from 11 cents to 12 cents. Pretty good percentage. It's just a kind of a clone for COMS as far as like dime stocks that are trading large percentage moves. So they grind in a way where you can pick up the price action and scalp it pretty easy.
This is like a wedge right here, so check it out. We'll see if it holds true for us today. If you look at this, it's like a wedge if I put that in there. Now, when you have those ascending looking wedges, even with the descending ones, if we look left, this is what I call the opening of the wedge. And one of the ways to measure a move, to get a measured move, is when you have a wedge like this, is you measure that opening like I did with this shadow box. And then I set it back where I see the move starting, the next flag up, so we could get to that 1372. Now, that's not a lot on a penny stock, okay, to get. But let's say this was a large cap. Let's say this was SPY, or this was the MES or the NASDAQ futures. Then what you could do is you could take your entry when you get the right signal, take that measured move, and then just go for a part of it. Don't go for the whole thing. Just go for a part of it. And then you could size up in that if you have the right conviction and you know this is how I'm getting my measured move. And then you could go for conviction on size up on something like that and get a third of it. And you know, a third is great, especially if you're sizing up on it. Now again, it's a penny stock, so that's not going to do very much. But you know, it's like 1 penny is what we're looking at, literally right there. But that 13 was a previous level that we had talked about that needed to blow through. So now I've got a way to measure a move, and to me, one of the greatest things is the measured move and learning how to measure a move, because that's when you can really say, okay, I've got a target area. I can get in, and I don't have to go to the full target area, but I can get in. I can get in with conviction, and I could have grabbed this candle, right? So that's
Conviction is what it's about.
conviction is what it is, exactly right. What is, you know, the probability is it's if I go with the 60-40, there's a 60% chance it's going to hit 1372. You know. And it's, you know, 40% chance it's going to fail. So that's better than the weatherman's going to give you. and then we just kind of watch out. And if you watch some of the stuff that I do, and I'll be getting some more out here in the next few weeks, trust me. And oh, that sounds like an attorney. Don't nothing against you attorneys. I love you guys because I need you sometimes. But it's like, yeah, you could just really, you could do some good stuff there. But we're gonna get some. When I say trust me, is I'm working on some new stuff to get some new material out. And a lot of what I do is I'm a recovering attorney. I love it.
Awesome.
That is freaking awesome. You're funny. It's all right. So, anyway, so that's what we're doing. We got another. I see another high and tight, not a high and tight, but another wedge and another one. But I'm not going to turn it on. It's too small volume. It's just popping up on one of my screens.
See what I meant. It starts to build momentum here. It can go in halt territory pretty quick. It's not a very large float for that size.
Right.
For that priced equity.
Oh, I just do free videos now because I never want to practice again. Oh my goodness. That's awesome though. Do you do those on TikTok? CBM23, I'm curious. That has been it's been some cool stuff I see on TikTok.
A lot of legal stuff to know.
Well, there's a lot of good legal stuff to know. You could you could become like a stock attorney.
Yeah,
we need to understand these laws. Somebody was saying the other day that, well, who was it? Was it Webull that was limiting you to 390 trades a day?
yeah, I think that's more of a
Oh, Sig, you're so freaking funny. Well, I'm a semi-retired musician with bad legs, so I'm. This is why I'm here, hanging out with a rough neck and a grease monkey.
I want to go do some more more metal fabrication already. It's addicting.
Oh, look at that! Thank you, Trace. Trace put the article up. All righty then. It is slow grind. Man, we are slow grind. And sometimes you get those hammers like this above when you start getting these. I get a little concerned, especially with a penny stock, because that can just dump down right there. But look, if I'd have wanted that measured move and I only went for a little bit of it, I'd have got it. If I only went for 2/3 of it or half, because it didn't make the full measured move. It still could. SPY, meanwhile, is back at its VWAP, fighting VWAP. We're back to the top of this red anomaly over here.
Liquidate only for the next quarterly period. Jeez. That's freaking lame.
Which one, the Webull thing?
I'm reading that rule, yeah. I've had times where I've traded up to 400 options a day. I'm dropping them quite for nothing.
Let's watch this SPY thing here. It's just
I mean, when you trade 200
Interesting.
debit spreads, that's 400 options.
yeah. But that's on Webull, not on
Oh, I love how they word this. The rule is adopted by the options designed to identify professional customers who compete with market makers that otherwise should not receive priority over retail clients. Wow, okay.
Whoa. They're saying that we're restricting retail traders because they're doing too good.
So, like, when I'm running 300 freaking debit spreads, dollar lines.
600 options.
Yeah. 600 option contracts a day. I'm blowing this rule out of the water.
Well, that's why you're on Robinhood.
Market makers.
Oh, but is that
SPY has 10,000 contracts traded daily on stuff that expires the same day. Come on now.
so? Is this applying for all of everybody or just Webull?
I think this is strictly Webull from what I see, but I don't see anything in Robinhood's rule set that stops me from doing that. They do limit how many I can place at once to 500 contracts per order, but I don't think it's ever stopped me from making executions on that.
Well, I mean, also Webull's a Chinese company.
Yeah.
They're probably hurting right now. you're beating the Chinese. You're beating the house.
Beat the Chinese. Leave us alone.
Isn't their market? How's their market right now?
Well, it's getting better, I think, because they were releasing the protests have actually caused them to back off on their restrictions. From what I read earlier.
Robinhood professional.
Apple's talking about moving out of there, though.
Yeah, and Apple's talking about leaving.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, without Steve Jobs, I just don't see anything. Apple.
That's terrible. That's when you're personality driven.
What was the?
Of course, he was a genius.
Well, I mean, I've been around Apple since I was a kid. I saw him develop what he developed, and like it's an artist's platform. And
Yeah.
when he left, when they kicked him out, they tried going to the IBM Tower and suffered. I think that was back in '96, and then they brought him back and he brought out the iMac, and I don't really see people having that vision.
Yeah. He had a yeah.
Unusual.
Yeah, because when they were making those crappy computers, then they tried to make them different colors. It was like, ugh,
Well, that's the one that he brought out.
Ah,
That was the
that was the one he brought out.
And then he moved forward from that. Yeah, he needed like another year to keep developing, and that's when he started coming out with the flat panel. The monitor, it got slimmer and
Yeah,
silver.
and he came out with the iMac, and that was like, I'm still running an iMac. I got an iMac 2017. I'm still running. And they work great, and they were great for graphic design. Hey, I'm gonna take a quick break, deal with some coffee, and I'll be back.
I'm gonna start doing a little research on that. So far, I don't think anything like that applies to Robinhood. So I've had days where I've sold more than or traded more than 400 contracts a day.
Well, I mean, aren't they with
I've had many days like that.
well, isn't Robinhood with like some huge?
Well, they're with Apex for clearing. It's like any issues like that.
Well, that sort of thing's probably going to drive some people over to Robinhood.
Maybe Tasty Books too. No, I'm gonna go to Tasty Books site. Just 'cause they explain them.
What I'm hearing you say though is it sounds more like a rule than a law. Like within companies.
Yeah, I'm reading some stuff. If you are a trader who averages 390 options orders a day, could classify as a professional trader. Like to be placing a new order each minute of trading day. There's 390 minutes in trading day. Okay. As a result, orders from professional traders that fall under this rule require special handling from broker dealers.
And I'm back. What an interesting day. Is that an ugly triple bottom on SPY?
I don't know, looking like a descending channel, second leg here. Okay, here we go. Let me read this. As a result, orders from professional traders that fall under this rule require special handling from broker dealers. Since public non-professional orders get priority in order execution over professional traders, falling under this classification due to the 390 rule requires special handling from broker dealer, like Tastyworks. That said, Tastyworks currently does not support professional traders that fall under the 390 rule. You're probably asking yourself, why does this rule even exist? Simply put, this rule prevents customers who are non-professionals to act as market makers since public orders give priority over professional. Give me a quarter.
They're just trying. They are just trying to. Listen. I have been thinking about this. They are trying to find ways to curb retail trading. That is the bottom line. They're going to try to find ways to curb it. I've thought about this for a while now, and I knew it was coming because it's one of those things. It's
Regulating the market, so no one
right. Well, and also guys like I don't mean maybe they're professional traders, but you got guys out there on YouTube who are, buying 10,000 contracts or shares or whatever, and then telling everybody that they did it or when to buy, and then they sell into them. So you got guys with big accounts that are moving the market, but they're not professional traders, and it's probably ticking off the big guys. They're crying foul, and they know that we can't go after them, but they can come after us. We need an attorney. We're CBM 23.
tell them, get bent, suck it up, Buttercup, 'cause we're coming for you.
Kid crying for mom.
Yeah.
He's crying, mom. What he's holding. It's like he took my ice cream, but what he's not telling mommy is that he smashed yours on the hand first.
Right. That's exactly right.
This is the first time I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
Technically, though, if that like 390 rule, so you could go to one and do 380, and then you go to the other and do 380.
That's why you have multiple brokers. Okay, COSM is pushing up.
I mean, I've had situations where those orders with size like that, I mean, they'll fill in houses of like 10 or 20 at a time. They still sell. I haven't been sent anything in the mail or anything in email telling me I broke a rule or anything.
Let's confuse everybody with COSM and COMS.
Right.
All right, watch it here. This looks like, just be cautious. Here, blah. I mean, my God. I want to, you know what? This would be fun now. This is where Jeremy needs to be like, just on paper trading. Just go get to the Trade of 8 and scalp this son of a gun and show us how it's done.
Yeah.
All right, VWAP. I mean, we're at the 200 here. We're pushing it at these other levels.
Consider opening up a small account. My wife said, I made some bad blood saying something. I don't care because they
Who? with who?
Yeah. What happened?
I'll explain later.
Okay, we'll explain later. So this smartass. This was the thing that I had marked out earlier. I said, okay, well, let's see if it does this. Then I put this level here. I said it's got to get there. I said, well, we got to go here, and it went there. And then I got this one here, and I just simply marking those big red bars to the left. I could have marked the green bars. I could have marked every one of them, and you could see it hit them. But I picked those green bars. They give you a nice little, well, again, sub-penny stock. 2 cents ain't a lot. I want 10 cents or more. Because if you're trading 100 shares, 10 cents is going to be $10.
Uh-oh.
order flow on this SINT.
There goes.
Here.
There goes Spy.
Yeah, SPY, like I said, this looks like the second leg of the descending channel on the 5-minute chart. Breaks the 23 or 8 period here on the 5-minute chart.
Cent?
Yeah, SINT. I'm gonna pull up the screen for just to. It doesn't take much because, like I said, this is not a very big float. It's got 50 million shares, but they're only 10 cents a piece. So yes, kind of a low float.
Wow, that's
But here's the order flow. I'm gonna throw it up in the chat. Why this is interesting is because it gives us an idea of what some of the institutional, well, not institutional, bigger orders are doing. Smarter money.
might get an M top here.
It's got interest, and it's at a price level where it's interesting. So
Sorry, made me snort. I do snort sometimes. It just makes me laugh. Dollar's still moving up now. It's pushing a little bit. VIX is pushing up.
Oh, there you go, Jeremy.
It is 10:54. Do we have anything coming up? 11:30 we got those bill auctions. 12:30 investor movement index. That's it.
grindy here.
This is very grindy. Here we go. There's your cent. Just pushed up. DBGI pushing.
13.5 cents is key resistance for SINT. If it breaks that, it can
We got this pivot right there at like about 1273.
if you look at a gap down on the daily chart, it's right at that gap, 12.5 cents. So right at the 50% retracement.
I gotta clear all that up.
You gotta really open your chart up to see that gap.
Oh, yeah. It's only gonna. That's my 1 year. So
Yeah.
still.
It's an interesting rounding bottom.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, does it have just insane amount of range to go into for that previous bear trend that was after it peaked at like 58 cents.
I got levels. Why did I get those levels from? I got levels up. Oh, those are control bars.
It's
I can tell. My color code.
I've got a lot of dope on my chart now. This is one I'm kind of curious on. It's a small company. They're not like a startup. They've been around a while, but they
That's a bear flag, Jack.
history.
Did you know DOPE is an acronym?
No.
Data on prior encounters. It's a sniper term.
Yeah, that's why it's okay. Yeah, because most
Dope
snipers write dope on the stock of it. Go into
It's a DOPE book.
prior data.
Data on prior encounters.
I thought it was like, a little something that you did on the side. That was dope. Oh, bro, look, man, this gotta get me some dope. Okay.
We can still call it dope.
I got these cheeseburgers, man.
Hey,
No.
look at these candles. These are very, what am I looking for? Those are smooth candles. This is market makers making this stuff happen right here. See this level right there? This is the 30-minute chart right there. That's where it is right now. 1272. It's got some interest. This is a VWAP.
That order flow isn't that big. Nothing.
Crap. This is a VWAP right here. Notice how it's right there with that pivot area. That's what I'm talking about. They're everywhere. You can use them any way you want.
See, points of control are also points of interest because, and I've said this before. It's like all the big orders are what make those big bars. So when you have an open and a close on those, you really get a lot of information on where the bag holders are sitting.
There's wicks
Smart
right,
money,
right up here.
this bag.
Look, there's bag holders right there. There's your area right there. They're all in that wick. That's I had to really push it up so you could see it better.
I really need
Yeah, I wanted to get you in that one so you could see it. Let's see what else we got on. I mean, there is price action to trade, folks. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking for stuff, and this is ticky tack, but it's moving. Look, it hit that level already, came back down, rejected off that VWAP band. See if it blows through it. That's a pivot. And then you got 1272 next. Again, it's not much.
like a fly trying to break through a window.
COMS is the third flag in the trend. Just like the pin stock rule, the third flag. If it pulls back, it'll pull back quickly to about 12.45 cents is support level for flag 2. Just
Okay.
to be noteworthy. If it breaks out from here, it can certainly go higher, but this is the third flag. This is where you're scrutinizing whether or not this is going to maintain momentum here or not.
Let's get it set so we can see it a little better. There we go. Jump. I, spy. This is why I'm not trading. I do not trade single options right now, or don't know that I'll ever go back to single options. I have discovered the spread. I do like the spread. I do like that your risk is more manageable. The reward is manageable as well, and you, like you said, with those really far out spreads, you can get the $5 wide for $5 or less, and those things we saw last week moved pretty damn good.
That was insane. I bought a pile of this.
I know.
Buck a piece.
A buck a piece, and you made 9 or 8 on them.
Sold them at 9, so I made 8.
Yeah, and if you were buying 100 of those, that would be $800 that you made. Just want to put
$100 risk.
for $100 risk. Just want to put that in dollars. I know you're a percentage man, and I appreciate that, and I'm learning that. But sometimes it's just nice to hear it in the hard, cold dollars.
Something you can understand the concept.
Yeah. All right.
And, when you're trading 200 of those, mind you, you're breaking that 390 rule. So just keep that in mind. I mean, can you imagine being flagged for a trade like that on a spread?
Wow.
Man, crazy.
COMS just broke out. Let's see what it's going to do here. I don't know that it's going to go that high. Let's see.
Hey Jeremy, it's like a gunfight. Count your bullets.
I suppose you're right. I don't trade spreads on my cash account anyway. I've done multiple
Up.
days,
3 white soldiers.
a couple hundred spreads on board, and never got it even in days.
Looks like we got 3 strong bull bars right there. It's got to break that area. By the way, the in-between of these 2 candles, when it dropped off, that's where we were kind of fighting a little bit right here. Now we have another in-between right here. That's a big wick, Jack. That's rejection.
I'm understanding the rule a little better now. It's not the number of contracts; it's the number of orders. Okay.
Hey, what does that mean?
So each order, no matter how.
Oh, so you got 300 orders. So you can do 390 orders of 200 contracts at a time.
Sure.
Okay, if that's what there's your loophole.
Still be a market maker, guys. So
They're not killing the market maker. They're just the orders.
That's 390 or how many orders do you make, Jeremy?
on an average day, like if I'm day trading spreads, I'll make like up to like 30, 40 orders a day if I really got a volatile
I
day.
mean, seriously, that level, like that 390.
That's in futures contracts. So that's
Oh,
not many orders a day. But when it comes to like options, if I'm doing spreads, if I'm day trading them, I'll make like 10 to 15 orders a day on that per order.
so you get a total of 390 orders a day.
No way.
No,
Not on-
that's
not
what,
on
that's what the rule
options,
states.
but
That's the
with,
rule
with
state, right?
futures contracts, yes, I'll do that all the time. I guess.
But their rule does not.
futures.
Yeah, it doesn't apply. It's only to options, right?
Right. Like on
Yeah.
that week where I went and I think I showed you guys the screenshots for how I made it. They had the little triangles on my chart.
Yeah.
You couldn't see
Yeah,
the candles. There was so many triangles on that chart for my orders. And I went back and looked at how many accounts that did.
Well, Brooks, I watched a little bit Al Brooks again on our. I was looking at some of our futures stuff this weekend, and he was saying that he used to trade 50 times a day, and now he does it maybe 10 to 15.
Yeah.
All right, so we got
Here, like,
rejection here. Let's see.
the better you get, the fewer you have to make.
Yeah.
That's generally what I've been.
I mean, it depends on what time frame you're trading too. I'm over there trading the 10-second chart. That's bound.
You're gonna make more trades with 10 seconds.
I want to go back to COMS real quick. This was at the. See, I started this wedge right here, and I used my shadow box as the top trend line, and then I showed you the opening, and I said, well, I'm going to take that opening, and that's going to be a measured move for the next one. And as you can see, we're almost to that 1372 area. So if this had been, again, this is only a sub dollar, so your movement's slow, but had this been an actual real stock, then a real stock, yeah, above it. If you're,
Right places.
yeah, or if you'd have done this, look, I do this on the futures in SPY all the time. I show this same thing all the time. That's how you measure this, how you get a measured move, because you've got to be able to measure a move, right? So this is just one way. This is measuring an ascending wedge. There's that little wedge look. Took the opening of it, measured it.
Be right back.
Yep, set it back up on top and said, okay, there's your measured move. Don't need to get the whole thing. Get in with conviction, and you get just a third of it, or 2/3 of it, or half of it. And again, not on this guy, but if this had been like a futures, and you could have traded a couple of contracts on that and got out at the halfway or 2/3 point and made a good return just like that by looking for the setup, knowing that we're looking at a wedge, and then knowing that simple way to measure the move by grabbing the beginning of the wedge. I'm going to say it again, grabbing the opening of that wedge, measuring it. I measured it with a shadow box. Then I took it and I set it on top of that wedge when I saw price was breaking out, going toward the breakout, and that gave us a target of 0.1372. Now, you'd have had to stay in that. That would have been a swing, not a scalp, because this is several bars. This is a 1-minute chart. So you're looking at, from 10:34 to where we are now, the 11:06. So that's more than 30 minutes. So that's a swing, but you'd have had to endure that, and you'd have had to set your stops at the right place. My stop would have been there right at the base of that wedge, right at the base of that. And then, boom, look, man, you'd have had a good move. Now, again, it's only a sub-penny stock, so you're not even getting a penny there, really. But had this been a real stock, and you can sit there and watch it move, and this is not it's not complex. I mean, it's complex. It's not impossible to learn how to do this stuff. And this is what we teach all the time. This is what we do. Everything I'm teaching you, I learned at Bullish Bears. From combining a couple of different strategies together and charting techniques and technical analysis. I like technical analysis. I don't do fundamentals. I'm not at a place where I would do any fundamental trading. But technical analysis, I'm a little bit of a hybrid. I use different methods to get to where I'm going, which is profit.
No one can knock that. Because,
It works. Well, no, and it works. I mean, we show this every day. This is, it's just you got to learn your method, what you're comfortable with, you know. Um, it used to be when Scott was in here all the time, Bullish Bear Scott. We had Bullish Bear Scott, Jeremy, and Sig, and I would look at Jeremy as being like Chuck Berry. Very simplistic, but yet impactful and powerful. He's Chuck Berry. He's playing 3 chords all day long. He's playing simplistic rhythms, and but yet it's straight ahead and it's fun. It makes you want to dance. And Chuck Berry's a very successful icon, right? And I used to look at Scott as George Benson because I know a little bit about George Benson. George Benson, he looks for certain shapes, and he plays in certain shapes. He doesn't even know everything he's playing technically. He knows a few things, and he knows how to outline chords, and he knows how to take a couple of a very basic blues scale and mix it up with what he's doing, and it's jazzy and it's great and it's wonderful.
Jeremy is Jimmy Page.
No, Jeremy was Chuck Berry. That's what I just went through. Jeremy's Chuck Berry. Yeah, Jeremy's Chuck Berry. And then Scott was a little bit more of, he kind of looked for the shapes more than anything, like the outlines. And so he would be like George Benson to me. And then Sig, well, I always said Sig was like, when I would listen to him, I'd say, man, he's like the freaking master class. You go listen to Sig, and you're going to get a doctorate with him. And it's funny that he's going for his doctorate now, because that's how I viewed him. I looked at him as the head of the music department. He could read the whole score. So that's interesting for me. So I kind of use a little bit of all 3 of those guys in what I do, and then add a little bit of some things that I see myself. But the main thing is,
It's not so much the stuff like you're not talking so much about yeah, because I've heard you say like Jeremy plays this really high rate, 10-second chart.
right.
That's what I'm
Right. Yeah. Speed bubble. Yeah, but I did Chuck Berry because his method is very simplistic but effective. But it's also, we're talking about the father of rock and roll here. So, Chuck Berry is like serious cat, but he's very simplistic. And George Benson's just a little more complex, but he's not as complex as people think, if you will. The average listener goes, "Wow, that's a great guy, plays jazz and everything." But then when you hear his interviews and they say, "Yeah, that was a Mixolydian scale you were playing on that," and he said, "Really? Was it?" And it's like, okay, George just knows how to play. It doesn't matter that he knows that if he knows the specific theory behind everything, he's got enough knowledge of it, but he doesn't have to know all that stuff. He just does it. So
And then you were saying about
Sig is like the head of the department. He's the PhD. He's the orchestrator. He's the guy he's the conductor sitting in front of the Philharmonic. All right, he's reading the score. He's reading the whole score all at once, right? And he has a different way of approaching things. But I just gave you rock and roll, jazz, and Philharmonic. There's 3 different genres. It's all music, but it's just finding the method that works best for you.
and what I'm hearing you say, tying that together, is that you took all of that, which is what you do in music. You stated that multiple times. That what you'd like to do is take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and
Yeah.
make your own hybrid.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you've done here. And I appreciate that. Great job.
Well, yeah, and it's just that, we're at a point, I'm explaining this to everybody now, and if you're new to Bullish Bears and you've been around a little while, you know that I've been perfecting some things. So Yeah, and I use a lot of technical candlestick analysis, and then some of it, a lot of it I figured out on my own, just reading the chart, just constantly keeping the chart in front of you, constantly looking at it, analyzing it, spending the rest of the end of the day and go look at it, put my training wheels on it. That's what this is, training wheels to help me find pivots and stuff. And then after a little while of spending time in front of the chart and reading the chart and reading the chart, you start seeing the patterns, because it's easy to see it when it's printed. It's easy to sit there and see what's happening when it's printed. It's another thing to sit through the twitching of the candles. And if you're anticipating something and it hasn't happened, and you haven't let a confirmation take place, then you can get hurt. And new traders I mean, I did the same thing. We all want to jump in and start trading when we're in a trade room and follow along with the trade, listen to what the folks are saying. But like I say, I think out loud, so I might say, oh, it might do this. And if you go boom, thinking that because I said it might do this, and you enter a trade, you size up, and then less than 10 seconds later, I said, no, I was wrong on that. It's going to go this way. Well, then you're screwed. You're already entering a trade that you're going to lose because you followed my thought process rather than learning the thought process for yourself and fishing for yourself. You're trying to piggyback off of what a moderator's saying, and you're going to get hurt that way. So it takes time, and you have to do your analysis. Days like this, I'd cut me off and go listen to go find a teaching. Go listen to one of the teachings on Bullish Bears. Go find the replay where stuff was happening. Some people don't have big accounts, and some do. And for those of you who don't have big accounts, then I suggest you paper trade for a while, and then find you a good paper trade. Tradeovate's got the best when it comes to the futures that I've seen so far, the best that I've used. There may be other good paper trading things, but it's free with your subscription, so that's great. TOS sucks. But then once you get comfortable paper trading, you can graduate to a penny stock, because you're mitigating your risk. I mean, gee whiz, I'm trading a 13-cent stock. I don't like those as much as the ones that are over $1, but you can mitigate your risk. You could have, looked at where things were going, marked out some areas, and said, oh, okay, well, this is now support, so that red hammer you could have bought. You could have kept your stop loss really tight, like less than 10 cents, and then you could have got a good, 15-cent scalp. Just trading one share, not hurting yourself, and practicing what you learn on price action. And you can go out now and you can get the, I just realized this the other day. I didn't even think about it, but you could trade fractional shares. I think I was thinking about it, and I was reading something, and Sig was writing about it as I was thinking about it. So he was in my head, and he's probably in my head. He's the shrink. But, it's you can trade a fraction of a share, man. You can go buy $10 worth of SPY. You don't have to spend the whole $403 to get one contract. You do your price action. You go get your $10 worth of SPY and see if it goes in your bullish direction. Now, you can't do that. You can't sell $10 worth of SPY unless you got a huge count, I guess. I don't know that they do fractions like that. But you can practice your bull moves that way. And I think when you're new, I think the way to learn price action is to learn the bull moves first. Learn the bull flags first. Because if you can learn the bull flags, then you can see, push, pull back. And you can learn how to get in on the pullback. Push, pull back. Learn how to get in on the pullback. Push, consolidate, pull back. And if you look at what this DBGI is doing right now, then it's a lot of wicks and everything. Yeah, it's out there. It's already 23%. I mean, I've traded penny stocks that were 400% increase. It's risky, but if you're following your patterns, it's not so bad. But you can see how these are moving average. You see how price goes above those moving averages and it walks right back to it. Goes above it and it walks right back to it and hits below it and comes back up. So you start learning those bull moves and how price pulls back to those other levels, and You know, you could use the candles for just simply use what you see on the chart. It's all right there. You can take all this crap off and you still just follow the flags. There's many ways to take profit in the market. There's many ways to exploit it. It's finding the one that works for you and going for it. All right, 11:15, 11:20. Jeremy, you still there? I'm just rattling on. Did he leave? I'm going to close the stream, everybody, on YouTube. Come on by, like, subscribe, share, do everything.
Ring
And
that bell.
ring that bell, ring that bell. And come visit us at Bullish Bears. We're inexpensive. We are going to be the best little bit of money you ever spent, I promise you. People are taking profit and they're learning how to do this stuff. We've got great folks here. We got a great coach in Sig. We got Sensei Jeremy. We got me and Devin and Lucian and Casper. And we're all over here with Angel. We're kicking butt. And we're getting ready for the new year. And it's going to be great. We'll teach you what we know. And we're going to do it a lot less expensive than you'll get from other people. And we'll, you know, we don't care. We're going to show you what we know. Come on and visit us.
Community. Take care.
Yep, heart and authenticity. All right, bye, y'all. And bye, YouTube.